What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for yet another video for you guys. And today we're going to be looking at Nuno once again. Basically, we've turned from We Are Jose TV to We Are Nuno TV.
I'm proud. Exactly. Shameless.
I'm proud. And what we're going to be looking at today is 5 reasons why to be excited for the Nuno appointment. So let's get straight into it. And the first reason is his record for Wolves against the top 6.
Yeah, so he was at Wolves for 4 years, obviously in the Premier League for 3 years. And despite finishing top 7 2 years in a row and a disappointing third season when they finished 13th. But what always impressed me, and I think impressed a lot of people, was Wolves' ability to bloody the noses of the big teams. They always put in a real big shift when they came up against the top 6 team. And it even shows up in when you look about the results they got. They played 36 games against top 6. They won 9, they won 10, they drew 9, and they lost 17. 7 of those losses coming in that final season, obviously, where they had big injuries. But to win 10 games and draw 9 against the top 6 over his time in the 36 games is very impressive for a champion, essentially a team he brought up from the Championship. And it shows his ability to help a team overachieve, making more than some of its parts. And yes, they might have struggled sometimes against teams sitting a low block when they've been tasked to break them down. But always when they came up against superior opposition, they always gave a big performance. And more often than not, as the stats prove, more often than not, they actually got a result.
Yeah. And like I keep harping on about, like, I was so impressed every time a Nuno team came up against Tottenham. Every single time they gave us a hard game. Even when we somehow got over the line, it was still a very iffy one, and they definitely played, or sometimes played, a lot better than us. And you know, cast your mind back to 2 seasons ago, done double over Man City. I mean, they do get results against the big six.
I remember they beat Man United, I think, like a couple seasons ago, a couple times. They beat Liverpool in the FA Cup. Yeah. They've always got big results. They've beaten us a few times under Nuno's tenure. So they're always, it's never, you always know when you come up against Nuno's Wolves, it's never going to be an easy game, whatever the circumstances.
Well, let's hope it's going to be the same at Tottenham Hotspur. But let's move over to the second reason why, and that is his season at Valencia.
Yeah, so he only spent, unfortunately for him, I think it was 14, 15 months at Valencia at the end, because he left pretty sharpishly after his first season in the second season. But he did finish 4th in his first season. Very impressive finish. He got 77 points. He scored 70 goals as well, which was, I think, 3rd in the table at the time for goals scored. And he also finished 3rd for goals conceded, and that was with a centre back of Shokra Mustafi and Otamendi as well as his back too. So to finish 3rd in terms of goals conceded is pretty impressive in that front. He got 3 Manager of the Month awards. He beat Real Madrid at home and drew them away, and then also beat Atletico Madrid, who were champions at that time, just coming back off a league win. So he definitely impressed in his first season at Valencia. Unfortunately, it didn't last long, and they ended up appointing Gary Neville, I think, in their second season. Maybe it shows more about their decision making, but he did have a very good time in Valencia, known also at that time for playing fairly attractive football as well. So he's proven that he can be a fairly sizable club, similar level to us, you've got to say, Valencia, in terms of size of club, and do pretty well.
Yeah. Like you said, he got them into the Champions League. And on Otamendi and Mustafi, I mean, Otamendi went on to play for Man City, didn't he?
The season later. He was only there for 1 season.
And Mustafi went on to play for the Gunners. So it couldn't have been that bad. I mean, Mustafi, yeah, but not Otamendi. But let's move on to the third point, and this will be to Daniel Levy's ears, and that is good recruitment.
Yeah,
bring on the Portuguese revolution.
Yeah, he's obviously a great relationship with George Mendes, the agent, and he was George Mendes' first client, and it means that he's always kind of not had first dibs, but he's always had a close relationship in terms of bringing in players. He's always had to able to find a gem, and the number of players he's able to bring in Wolves to improve the standard of playing. You know, Diogo Jota he brought from Atletico Madrid, fairly cheap. Ruben Neves he brought over. Willy Bolly, I think he brought over as well. Raul Jimenez, he came from Mexico, I think, and he got him for a fairly cheap, like 20 million or so for a striker of that ability. Adama Traore, he got from the Championship from Middlesbrough. Rui Patricio, I know he was #1 for Portugal, but he was he got him for a good price. Leandro Dendoncker got from Anderlecht. He's now starting for Belgium. Pedro Neto from Lazio, he got him for 15 million, and now he's one of the best young players in the Premier League. Jean Moutinho, an experienced central midfielder who Spurs linked with many times. He was able to get him through the door, and you know, some players as well he was able to get get through Valencia. Jose Gaia, he brought through the youth system. João Cancelo, he got from I think Benfica. Andre Gomez, who went on to move and play for Barcelona, and Rodrigo de Paul, who's now about to sign for Atletico Madrid. He brought him through at Valencia as well. So he definitely has a knack to bring a player in.
Right there.
He definitely does. He definitely does. And there's a nice mix there as well of young players, experienced players. All seem to tick the boxes. All seem to have done well when they brought him in. So, from a recruitment standpoint, I think he definitely has more hits than misses.
Yeah, look, I completely agree, and I think the players that you've rolled off there on the list are absolutely all quality players, and have all, well, for the most part, have gone on to play for big clubs. So they're all really thriving in their careers, and hopefully they got Nuno to thank for that. And I think that that's definitely one of the kind of things I looked at Nuno at Wolves, like bringing through all these like young Portuguese players, and they all seem to be thriving, or they did to a certain point at Wolves.
And you also got to say as well, he seems to know who he wants to sign to fit his system. He doesn't just sign a player to try and fit square pegs in round holes. He's got a specific area to fill and a specific role he wants, and he knows who he wants to fill those roles and how he can get. So I think that is very targeted as well, I feel, his recruitment.
Yeah, and hopefully him and Fabio Paratici can really work together to bring through some gems at Tottenham as well. But let's move on to the fourth take, and this is nurturing youth, which will really be ringing in Daniel Levy's ears, and this is probably why Daniel Levy really chose him.
Yeah, because we've seen at Wolves how he's not scared to use young players at all. Last season, Max Kilman, who actually signed as well as a very young player, I think it was from like Maidenhead or something, some like random team, he signed him and didn't have any qualms about putting him in the team. He made, I think, a lot of appearances last season for, I can't remember the exact number, but he made a lot of appearances last season for Wolves as a centre-back and as a young player.
He was quality. He was assists from the back. I mean,
I remember he was a fantasy league legend. I had him definitely throughout the season. He was a very solid player, and he wasn't afraid to put him in. Nuri as well, 19-year-old, signed him for a decent fee.
Him last season.
He played a lot last season at left back. Obviously, Pedro Neto, he signed as a young player at 19 years of age, and he's brought him on to become one of the best wingers, or one of the most exciting young wingers in the Premier League, that's for sure. And then Fabio Silva, he bought him for a big fee, yes, as an 18-year-old from, I think it was from Porto, and he might not have impressed so much in his first season, but he definitely got a lot of game time. He definitely wasn't afraid to use him once, especially once Raul Jimenez got injured. So I think it proves that Nuno Santo definitely is one who's not afraid to use young players if need be, and he thinks if they're good enough, then they're young enough, and that's how he sees it. I think.
Mean, the thing about Fabio Silva is he didn't have much choice because of the Jimenez injury.
Yeah, I guess you can say that as well. But I think he definitely played him a lot, and he could have easily played maybe put a Dharma up there or something. But he decided to trust the 18-year-old, and that's what he did.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw Fabio Silva play, it seemed as though he just wasn't ready for the step up yet. But
I think actually, to be fair, I think later on in the season he definitely got better. He definitely got better.
Maybe you're right there, but that is definitely one Daniel Lee will be loving, and that is nurturing the youth. And let's look at the last takeaway, and that is tactical flexibility.
Yeah, so this is something that's definitely been put to Nuno, that he's a pragmatic manager. He only has one way of playing, and he's just a Mourinho light, people would call him. But he and also people say he always plays his three at the back. He's famed for playing his three at the back, and actually, we were talking with the Wolves fan earlier today, and he was saying that this season he was trying to bring a four-at-the-back system into Wolves to play more of an attacking approach. And yes, it didn't work out. A lot of their attacking players got injured or whatnot. But that is what he was trying to do. And at Porto, he was known for playing a 4-4-2. During his time there. Apparently earlier in the season they were getting a lot of draws, and he was trying to figure out different systems to help break down low blocks. And once he moved to a 4-4-2, they became a lot better at breaking down teams and being a lot more attacking. At Valencia, he was known for playing either a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, being a much more free-flowing team. And obviously at Wolves, he's switched between 3-5-2 and 3-4-3, and he's played a few different systems there. So it shows he's definitely used to a few different formations. He's not afraid to set up different ways tactically, and so that should definitely bode well for Tottenham, who shouldn't be married to one system and maybe need to change things up when it calls for it.
Completely agree, and I think you're absolutely spot on. And those are our 5 reasons why you should all be excited for the arrival of Nuno Espirito Santo. I, for one, am excited. Obviously, look, it is underwhelming when we've been linked with Conte and Pochettino and the whole managerial farce and how long it's taken and everything. But look, I think we need to put that all kind of behind us now. We've got a manager, we've got Nuno. He's a very good manager, and there are reasons to be excited, like we have just told you. So I think it's time for the fan base to get behind this manager. In a whole united fan base, get behind this manager, still be against ENIC and against the board, but it's time to get behind our manager, give him the support and love he deserves and needs, and let's see where it can take us next season. But those are our 5 reasons why we should be excited for Nuno Espirito Santo. Let me know if there are any other reasons in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always,
come on you Spurs.